I was told early on in my career, you're too much. Stay in your lane. You're not humble enough. Because of that alone, I'm very confident in who I am because I didn't ask to be born. I did not ask to look like this, talk like this, walk like this. I didn't ask for any of this. So I have learned, being an openly gay black boy from Detroit, Michigan, to embrace everything about me because I literally came into this world like, now what do I do, child?
Carlos King.
Yes, baby.
The king is here.
Yes, with the queen.
Am I the queen?
Yes.
Do we just randomly say that to everybody? I talked about like everybody's king, queen. Do you believe
Well,
everybody's king, queen?
I think all black people are definitely kings and queens. If
No
you look
peasants?
at our, ain't no peasants over here, child. No, I don't know any peasants.
Well-
And I definitely don't hang out with them.
I know that's right. Well, you said the king is the most important. You made sure you put that on your Bible. The most important piece. Tell me why, because we hear a lot about queens being the most powerful.
Yes.
But important means move in any direction.
Yes.
You move in a lot of directions.
I do, and I do it with intention, right? I'm a God-fearing man, and I named my production company Kingdom Reign Entertainment, not only to complement my last name that is God-given, but to also honor the Lord, which is why it's called Kingdom Reign. It's the kingdom of God, is reigning in his ability to allow me to be a vessel to give other people opportunities. So I believe in that.
Is that the producer side of you? Is that why you link? Because you do producing.
Yeah.
You're in front of the camera, behind the camera. When you say give other opportunities, do you mean create these wonderful opportunities that you've been able to create for people to make income?
Absolutely. Yes,
Yeah.
1000%. My company is ran by black women.
Yeah.
I make sure to give people of color opportunities. Like to see these beautiful black people on this set makes my day. And I give people opportunities in front of the camera too to live their best life, to have a platform not only to promote their businesses, but also to encourage other people that, listen, being a reality star, we're just like you. And our lives are also messy, but we're showing you guys how to navigate through it.
What do you say to people that say it's too much mess showing? The balance, how do you find the balance and why it's important, to show the challenging?
I think life is messy. I think we look at the 5 o'clock and 11 o'clock news. They don't start with like, oh my gosh, the flowers grew in the garden today. They start with the messiest things that happens in everyday life because they know that that'll get people's attention. But when it comes to reality stars, look, let's have a real conversation, right?
Yeah.
We know that when it comes to reality stars, you gotta have a very interesting life in order for people to be invested in it. The same thing goes with scripted shows. You're not gonna watch a scripted show where the characters don't have an interesting life, right? So that's why I give my reality stars, not just on my shows, but the community, they're just due when it comes to being courageous enough to show you their messy side, whether it's their marriages, their friendships, or who they are when it comes to the construct of just being human. And I think if we look at our lives, right, if we sit still and look back on our past, we all have made mistakes. We all have done something that is like, not the most nicest thing I said to this person, but we learn from it. But our reality stars, they're living it in real time. So listen, have grace for them. I try to as well when I recap my shows, my podcast, Reality with the King. So I think we just need to understand that life is messy. So when it comes to reality stars, of course, you're gonna see some of that.
I want to ask you, because what I hyper focus on is community and politics, and I love mixing entertainment with that. I love mixing because in order for me to cut through the noise, so a lot of people are like, oh, why would you want to sit down and talk to her? Well, because in order to cut through the noise, the algorithms, to be able to reach the people that I really want to reach, I need to partner with people like yourself. It's very important that when you mention as people are navigating that mess and how to manage that mess, that ties directly back into how people need to get involved and how it's important that we support small businesses, not just from, financially, but also understanding the policy that comes behind that, the community behind that. A lot of reality shows I won't say a lot, but I do appreciate those who have used their platforms like Yandy, has used her platform, to be able to show the work that we do.
Yes, love
with
Yandy.
Tamika Mallory and Until Freedom and
Love
all of
Tamika.
that. Do you see, with everything happening now, do you see more space for that? Because the reality is, pun intended, people like reality to escape.
Yes.
But do you see some room on how, we can become better partners with each other to kind of give those messages, every now and then on what to do next in times like now?
Oh, for sure. I think there's room for all of it. Listen, it's television, it's media. I definitely think there's space for it. When it comes to an entire show based on that, could I see that? Probably, right? But I do think when it comes to unscripted, the sort of world in which audiences want to, like you said, escape from CNN and Fox News and C-SPAN is just, can I get 42 minutes to an hour of just watching something else that doesn't represent the craziness in politics? However, when you look at, for example, Yandy Smith, who I adore, and how she uses her platform, I Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, to really showcase the social efforts that she's doing with Tamika Mallory, who's a great friend of mine as well. You look at Portia Williams and her social justice campaign. You look at the people on my shows, Love and Marriage, Huntsville, Detroit, DC, and Bell Collective. They use their platform to really talk about certain things. On Bell Collective is in Jackson, Mississippi. There was a water crisis in Jackson that did not get a lot of mainstream press.
Right.
But on our show, we talked about that issue and we showed our cast handing out water bottles and raising money for the community. So there's definitely room for it. And when you have a platform like this, I do think it's necessary to show that.
Yeah, even just a little bit every now and then.
You have to. You have to embrace where we are in the world. On Love and Marriage Huntsville, we saw our cast do a lot of door knocking to get people to register to vote. So again, there's room for it. Do people want to see? Let's be real.
Yeah.
Do people want to see that in
every day?
Every episode?
No.
Probably not.
Yeah.
But I think they enjoy the fact that we are conscious of addressing what's happening in the real world.
Yeah. I was invited to host an event a few years back with on Breonna Taylor's behalf, and it was with Yandy and Portia. And I did not watch reality shows, so I didn't have a clue that just by hosting that event, that the blogs would say, because they were challenging him at the time, saying, "Are you really doing it for the real reason? Are you really connected to it?" And I just showed up to host, like, what the hell is going on? So just kind of being thrown into that world of, I guess, having negative criticism.
Yeah.
Because it was attached to the realities. And here I'm thinking we're doing a good thing by, bringing in, but it was heavily criticized. But I do appreciate it now looking back and, really showing how we have to be able to reach certain demographics that we just otherwise cannot. But like you said, having balance.
Because you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't.
Yeah.
Listen, just because you're a reality star doesn't mean that you don't have the fire and desire in you to do right by your community. And, I do go back and forth with even trying to publicize what I do for my community because I don't want people to think I'm doing it to get attention. But also, I'm like, there's a narrative out there that we don't do anything.
Yes, right.
So again, if I do something, you call me out saying, "Oh, child, you just want some attention." But if I don't show y'all what I do, then it's this perception that he's not conscious or she's not conscious. And we don't do anything. So, you can't win or lose in that situation.
I hope I change your mind on that because we have got to stop this. You're just doing it for attention. Yes, I want the attention on the fact that I am building my community.
That's
true.
That's a good point.
Yeah, it's for the attention. It's for the branding. It's for the awareness. If I can create awareness for anything else, why, or when it comes to those types of things, we shy away? I don't think that it's not helpful to us. It doesn't move us forward, like you said, with the narrative. It's not showing the reality that people do give a damn.
Yeah.
And it actually, Carlos, it hurts us tremendously because people say, no, like you said, nobody's doing anything. I was just talking to a friend of mine over the weekend about the lady did the racial slur, with the kid and how they raised $600,000. And
I saw
a
that.
friend of mine said, "We don't do nothing. See how black people." Meanwhile, the local NAACP chapter has raised $300,000. But if we're always in the hush and we're always not showing people fighting back, showing that somebody does give a damn, that yes, somebody does care, then all it does is continue to suppress us, depress us, and not show our fullness. So I hope that narrative changes, and I hope to encourage you to say, no, stun on their ass. If you doing it, you doing it.
Absolutely.
This idea, I just don't want nobody to see it. Why not?
Yeah, no, it's something I encourage my reality stars to do, which is, as long as it's true to you, forget the naysayers. Like, you can't challenge your intention with what you said because it's getting attention, right? And I do think there's a balance of like, yes, I want the attention for this cause, and I know you guys are looking at me anyway, so I'm gonna give you something to look at.
Right.
That can hopefully help somebody else, so I agree with that.
You get the attention about your divorce, you get the attention about who had a fight, you get the attention about everything else. Why not get attention for whatever it is you're doing on the positive end?
Yeah.
I hope, I'm trying to pitch to you, to please, let people know. Matter of fact, tell me, what are some of the awesome things you're doing that people need to know about Carlos King?
Well, look, I am building my production company, Kingdom Reign Entertainment, to be a multifaceted, multimedia company. I am no longer interested in just doing what my predecessors have done, which is create shows, pitch shows, sell shows, and then go home. That's not my story. That will not be my legacy. I will do that in addition to creating other facets of media. The fact that I'm the CEO of a production company where I am responsible for everything and everybody, right? From legal, accounting, production, my cast, the shows, me interfacing with the network. But I also own my podcast, Reality with the King. It's a very successful, thank you God, podcast. And I have a successful YouTube channel. I interview people, I host reunion shows. I had a amazing, sold out, successful run on a tour promoting my podcast. So I wanna be I'm one of one. And I'm no longer afraid or ashamed to say that in hopes of like not offending people.
It is what it is.
You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is. And the beauty of me expressing that is I want to continue to break down doors. I want to continue to break down barriers. I'm no longer dimming my light to make other people feel comfortable. Because at the end of the day, they're gonna be mad anyway.
Right.
You're damned if you do, you damned if you don't. I said that 10 minutes ago. So I am creating a landscape that does not look familiar at all. And people are confused by it. And that's good.
Yeah. And let's go ahead. I'm a halfway bootleg preacher. Let's talk about kingdom business.
Yes.
When we talk about kingdom business and you're saying you're rooted in the word and rooted in God, imagine if he never told anybody the good that he did. Imagine if he never told Lazarus to get up and come forth. Imagine if we didn't know actually what he did. Imagine if Mary Magdalene never told anybody that he's up now. I want to see more people use their voice to talk about what it is that they're doing, how it is, standing on that, and however you take it respectfully or disrespectfully, it is what it is. One of one, one of none. That's how the God I serve operate. Bold, clear, Old Testament style. Bold, clear, not bashful, not ashamed, very clear in how we're moving.
Yeah.
And if you're saying I'm the king and I'm the most important, then you actually got to operate in that. It says you can move in any direction. And we know the word says that I can do what? All things. Who what? Who strengthens me. And that's never going to be small. Never going to be small.
Come on, girl, you better
Doors of the church are open. Won't you
No,
come?
I love that. No, so anybody who follows me on social media, they know I'm very spiritual. Every single Sunday for the past maybe 6-7 years, every Sunday I will repost a sermon, do a sermon. I just started my weekly Sunday series on my YouTube channel called Soulful Sundays, where every single Sunday I do a video that's like 10 to 15 minutes long, where I take a scripture from the Bible and apply it to my life and encourage people to understand my journey and what to do or even what not to do. So everything you're saying, I truly believe in, and I know that my blessings come from God.
Right.
I know He's the ruler of my kingdom. I created my company to, like I said, highlight Him in every single way that I do my job. So when it comes to me, I was told early on in my career, you're too much. Stay in your lane. You're not humble enough. And I'm like, I'm literally just being myself. I'm confident. And I'm sorry, God created me in His image. So because of that alone, I'm very confident in who I am because I didn't ask to be born. I did not ask to look like this, talk like this, walk like this. I didn't ask for any of this. So I have learned, being an openly gay Black boy from Detroit, Michigan, to embrace everything about me because I literally came into this world like, now what do I do, child? So once I became confident to just be me, I have no longer had this desire to become what somebody else wanted me to become. And I've decided to honor God by honoring the person He created.
That you are. How long did it take you to get to that journey?
Ooh, it took a minute. It took a minute. Listen, I'm the middle child of 10 siblings.
Oh, wow.
Okay. Mother and father, same mom and dad, married. They were married for maybe 50 years.
Oh, wow.
Before my mom passed away a few years ago. So I always felt, well, you're the middle child. It's like Marsha and the Brady Bunch for those folks who are like my age.
Right. Shout out to Marsha. Yeah.
You'll get it if you watch the Brady Bunch. So being the middle child of 10 kids, I'm gay, and I haven't accepted that because back in the 80s, you didn't talk about it, especially with a Black father whose nickname was Joe Jackson in the neighborhood because he didn't play no games, right? So I struggled with that. I struggled with my identity. I have these amazing brothers, and I'm nothing like them. I have these amazing sisters. I'm nothing like them.
How many brothers and sisters? Just so
you
got 10, but
it's 7 boys and 3 girls.
Okay.
Right, and I'm nothing like them. Right, and I knew that. So I tried to find myself, and I was that way for the longest time. And it wasn't until I was in my mid-30s that I said, excuse my language, F this.
Yeah.
I can't live my life with somebody else. I just can't do it. I can't do it. Because I've learned, especially in this business, when you have to answer to so many people who don't look like you and who are in secret competition with you. And you don't realize that until you hear the whispers of what they're saying about you. And you're like, I thought we were cool. And when you try to grow and you grow and you realize that your mentors that you thought were giving you great advice, they were actually giving you advice to be stagnant, to not surpass them. And that was a tough pill to swallow for me. And listen, I've been the only Black person in many rooms throughout my career. I know what it feels like to fight for us in the room. In the room, right? Like, it's one thing to tweet about it.
Right, it's another thing.
They're my thing.
Yeah.
I'm in the room, being the only, saying, no, she ain't doing that. And she shouldn't do that. Because the white girl on the other show doesn't have to answer to that. So why does she? You know, my nickname growing up in this business, they were like, "You are like Martin Luther King, Carlos." Like, you don't be playing when it comes to defending us. I'm like, no, no, like I don't play. So, you know, but that took me to finally have enough. And I'm constantly reminded of that. I just saw Sinners. Like,
Oh my God. Yeah. That,
honey,
like, it's so many levels
I
to unpack. So many levels to unpack.
thank you, God,
Yeah.
that in my 40s, I'm still able to be reminded of my purpose.
Yeah.
I'm still able to be reminded of the village that I come from. The messaging in that film resonated with me so much, being a Black owner of a company and having to constantly fight for what I deserve. You know, when you hear Viola Davis talk about people say I'm the Black Meryl Streep, but I don't get paid the same as she does.
Right.
And it's like, she's Viola Davis, leave her alone. Nobody says, oh, Meryl Streep, you the Black Dorothy Dandridge. Like,
Right.
so the comparison annoys me because I'm like, I'm Carlos King, baby. So I want to fight for us, and I want us to always have each other's back as we grow in this business.
But you know, we're not always going to.
We're not, and I'm gonna tell you
okay
why.
with that? I'm okay with that. We can talk about it spiritually.
Yeah, so listen.
Like, because that's the whole thing about sinners. Let's identify
Go ahead.
who is who.
Yes.
Let's identify, let's just go ahead and pass the garlic around. In fact, that was going to be one of my commentary.
Yeah.
Let's pass the garlic around so that we can see and expose who is really the bloodsuckers in our community. I just believe in it. I believe in Gideon's army.
Yes.
300. I don't need 10,000.
Yeah.
I think, and I'm sorry to interrupt
No,
you.
no, go ahead.
But I think it's so critically important when we say, you know, we. One of my modules in the training that I do talks about it's not about we, it's about me. And I think we have to be very, I don't think I know, we have to be very comfortable. Spoiler alert if you haven't watched Sinners. We have to be very comfortable with being the one in the house with the stake of truth. Meaning that there's more on the outside than on the inside. We have to be very comfortable of standing assured of who I am, which you said would have took you 30 years to say that. Now imagine if you had been around, I got to protect the neck. The bloodsuckers are coming.
Yeah.
And so I think when we get into, when we get into our position of understanding exactly who we are and what we are and why we stand, if we focus on the we, I think that's where we take unnecessary time with trying to convince those that were meant to be vampires. I love when it talked about vampires live forever. See, it's not my job to be forever and to be it's my job to do this in this moment in this time. Because once I kill one, another one's coming.
Oh yeah, they multiply.
And they multiply.
Yeah.
Now I want to hear your.
Yeah, no, it's all of those
with-
things, and it's also, and I wonder if you caught this too, because sorry if y'all didn't see Cindy, you should have saw it.
Yeah, exactly.
Watch the shows when it comes out, child, and don't go to your barbershop and bootleg it, honey.
Right.
The DVDs. Okay, so I also took the messaging of stop inviting people into our world.
That's it.
Right?
That's it.
And it's funny because I'm bad with names, but the character, the white woman, if you really look at the movie, and she was the only white woman allowed in the room of all of these like black people having a good time. And the outsiders tried to come in. The black folks said, no, you're not, no, this is pretty much a private party. And what I think people don't realize is the white woman left the room, went outside, spoke to her own kind.
That's right.
On behalf of the Negroes.
Which we see all the time. So I know that was hitting with you heavy. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Like, yeah.
And then they only got infected.
Right.
Because she brought it back.
That's right. And y'all be letting them do that. So the cop.
I said y'all don't.
Yeah. So yeah.
Y'all don't get this.
Yeah.
It's like y'all always feel like I need just one in.
The
and
barbecue.
you don't.
Come to the barbecue. And even when he was saying, "Can't we all just be family? Can't we all
No,
be
we
the same?"
can't.
No,
in
not.
most cases, listen, and it doesn't. And listen, I'm not saying it's everybody, but what I'm saying
But
is.
it's a lot of y'all though.
But this is my problem.
Yeah.
Let's have a real conversation. Black people are afraid
of standing alone.
and upsetting the white man.
That's right, which means standing alone. Right?
Yeah, yeah. And they will rather diss us
Right.
to say, look at me.
I'm one of the good ones. Yeah. And see, the colonizing, this in turn too, y'all should have watched it. Because this is good. The colonizing, I think, was the obvious message to those of us that are in the room, you know, and know how they're always trying to get us. Let's just all be the same. Let's just all be this. That's one reason why I don't use the term people of color, by the way.
Ooh, tell me why.
Because it's not people of color, it's black. We're standing in our own
That's
authenticity.
right. I thought I was the only one.
Yeah, when you can.
I don't like when they say brown. I'm like,
Yeah,
we
like
black.
black
Like, what's
it's
wrong
okay
with
to
it?
stand in our
And capitalize the B.
Yes, it's
Sorry,
okay.
go ahead.
Yeah, it's okay to stand in our own
Yes.
authentic posture, which again goes back to sinners, of creating this. We're all the same. No, we're not. We're different. We're beautifully different, and each demographic has its different needs. And so when we say people of color, well, that's everybody. What makes me distinct? That's what the movie was all about. What makes me distinct? What makes me different? She was a person of color, remember? Because she had black in her. But when it came down to who they identified with, what side of the DNA talked to that side of the DNA?
That.
Don't get me started preaching here, Carla.
That.
Yeah, so this is why I can't do the people of color. It's not that I don't like y'all. I just need y'all to eat the garlic so I can know exactly who is who. And I think, and I want to say that they're wrapping me up, y'all. This is real good. But the colonizing message is important, but it's also important that we understand how we move in those spaces as well. And that's why I'm preaching about, let's also talk about black folks too, who are also vampires, who also suck the blood out the community, who also need to feel to be a part of something. So although there are people colonizing, there are also people raising their hands saying, I'll be the one that'll go back in there and get them as well. The spook that's set by the door. It could be a good thing or a bad thing. And that's important. And I want us to be absolutely okay with standing alone. Absolutely okay. Deborah in the book of Judges said, if you don't deliver my people, General Barak was his name. If you don't deliver my people through poverty, he will deliver through the hands of a woman. Every rider, everybody that had to stand. Mary Magdalene stood alone, in case y'all was confused. When all the disciples went and slept, when Peter denied him, when Judas betrayed him, it was Mary Magdalene that was standing by the tomb. See, that's when I think about sinners, because remember, I said she was the best sinner. They said she was a woman of the streets. They said that she lost her mind. She stood by the tomb and said, if he can do it for me, then surely he can do it for himself. And so had she not been there, okay with standing alone, like when you say standing alone, until your 30s, very significant, by the way, in case you didn't know that, in your 30s. We know Jesus, that's when he was crucified. 33. So her being okay with standing alone, she was able to witness the greatest miracle. And so although we look at that movie and we are definitely pointing out, you know, how y'all colonize, how y'all take from our culture, we also have to be okay with understanding that there are still some of us that just can't go. And we got to be all right with that. We got to be all right with just being over here. That's why Moses never saw the promised land, because he was too busy trying to get everybody on the same page. So I'm speaking that into you, Carlos.
You should start a YouTube channel and preach. That's my advice to you.
I should get on. But they said I'm called.
You I can't.
I don't want to give up all the foolishness,
can't
though.
confirm. Yeah. I'm the king of reality television. You can be all things through Christ who strengthens you.
I don't know.
Did we just talk about that?
Can I be from the pews, though?
I think you should start a
'Cause I
YouTube
like
channel.
cussing folks
No. I want you to start a YouTube channel, and I want you to once a week
He being his producer hat.
preach.
He supposed to be over.
You're no.
I'm a
listen,
preacher, but I still be. I like doing.
You can do it all.
From the pews.
You don't listen. That's the problem with us.
That's the problem.
We think pastors or people who got the word of God gotta have a prayer cloth. Gotta have
not me.
Gotta have their skirt down to the. You know, listen.
I don't want to do the obedience. There's a certain level of obedience that I need.
You have
and I don't want
it.
to do it, Carl. I still want to be.
You should do
I
it.
like
You
cussing
are.
folks out. Just let me be from the pew.
Whatever you want to do, child. I ain't gonna tell you how to do it.
Says the
I gonna tell you how to do it. Just do it and do it your way. You have a gift.
Oh, thank you.
You really do.
Thank
you preach it.
Well,
I'm here for it.
I always have to, and my producer, shout out to my producers, y'all. They be rapping me, but when my spirit, when I feel like I'm needing to talk to somebody in their spirit, which is one reason why I don't do a lot of small talk before the interview.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
Yeah, because I need to.
Yeah, you have to you want it to be not only just natural, obviously, but you want to like feel the energy and see where
Yeah.
it goes and takes you. That's why you put your cards down after 2 minutes. I saw that.
Did you see that? Did you pick that up?
I did.
Yeah. Because I'm trying to figure out.
Yeah,
what
you
is
said.
it. Yeah, let me speak
You want
to.
the energy to flow,
Yeah. I need the
which was a
energy to
smart
flow.
thing to do, by the way.
Yeah, energy to flow. I need to know what I need to say to you, not necessarily to the cameras, but to you. So when I'm hearing the things you dropped on the table, I picked it up. And I'm going to ask him before we close. What was your the one scripture when you said I had to say, I finally said, F it. What was that thing
Ooh.
or
You
that
know.
moment that made you say, you know what? Take me or leave me.
Yes. It wasn't a scripture, but it was a moment. It was me at one point in my life hitting rock bottom. Listen, we all have experienced what our rock bottom is, and it's up to you to figure out what that moment is. And for me, I just remember getting on my knees. I was playing Yolanda Adams, This Too Shall Pass.
Yes.
And I really had the ugly cry to God. And from that day moving forward, I allowed him to work in me. And the moment I was able to rise out of that situation, I said, oh, baby, you can't go back from here. And this may sound controversial, and that's fine, but I always tell people, when you're going through a situation that seems devastating, God puts you in those situations for you to grow and to learn from. And you have to understand that it's not a punishment. It's an opportunity to usher you to a different level. Because if you can survive this, and he sees how you manage it, oh baby, the floodgates will be open. And I do believe in Deuteronomy 8:18 when the word speaks about, God, open up. I'm gonna butcher right now because I'm on the spot with it.
Yeah, no,
I'm gonna paraphrase it. But no, it's like pour out the blessings where I may not have enough room to receive it. I believe in that. I believe that God will pour out blessings from the rooftop and lay it down to your lap where you will not have enough room to receive it. Because God is about abundance and being bountiful. So don't be afraid to want more and ask more. Still be grateful, because God wants to see that you're humble enough to be grateful for what he's giving you. He'll give you more. He'll multiply for you, right? But you can honestly do all things through Christ. You really can. And I think the world needs to know that.
I think it's very important. If you don't mind, I want to give you the counter to that, not to be a negative Nancy, but when I'm speaking to people in that way, who are you? When people say, why did it happen to me? Why not? Who do you think you are that you just get to escape any level of pain, any level of discomfort, any level of inconvenience? I do appreciate the positive message, say he's going to give you all these blessings, but I like to tell people, if he don't never give you nothing else, if he never gives you nothing else, there's an old song that say he's done enough.
That's true.
And I need people to be serving with the mindset that I'm here to serve, meaning if I plant this seed, I may not ever enjoy the shade tree. The nerve of you to think that he owes you anything.
That's true, very much so.
And so if you are operating in that, I know you can't trick the system and nobody's above the program. I'm gonna do this because I know in the end he gonna bless me. I may not ever bless you, and what you gonna do about it? I woke you up. I put the roar in the lion's mouth. That's why Job had to go through all of the unnecessary, because he had the audacity to challenge who God is. And it's important that we have that too, because what I see in religion is a coping mechanism of believing that there's this big pot of rainbow, and I certainly see it on the social justice side.
Yeah.
Well, I don't see any difference. I don't see any change. It's not for you to see any change. Your job is to carry the mantle as far as you possibly can. And when it's all said and done, people to talk about the dash.
Yeah.
The born date, the end date.
Yeah.
What did you do while you were here? If it's always waiting for the victory, always waiting for the pot of gold, always waiting for the grand finale, I need you outside. Sinners, I need you out there with them, because I can't trust you. I can't trust you to hold that truth of stake.
Yeah.
I need you to know when the shit get tough for real, you gonna stand, blessing or no blessing. So that's what I try to bring in my social justice world.
Yeah, good.
Because it's important to have those two. But we see so many different levels of this, Carlos, that if we, in the social justice side, I'll be honest and very transparent. I don't want to give his name because everybody has not been notified. A friend of mine committed suicide last night.
I'm sorry.
And he was in the social justice movement. And I'm saying that, I wouldn't even want to go into that, but I'm saying that because what I see in what we do, carrying these burdens so heavy, or even if it's in what you're doing, creating this idea of life. And I see a lot of people who say, you know, it's not getting better. It's not getting better. You told me it's going to get better. You told me it's going to get better. And if they're not grounded in those ebbs and flows and grounded in those good times, bad times, then they don't manage well. And they take themselves out of here. And so the balance of, yes, it's going to get better, and this too shall pass. What do you say to somebody when it don't pass?
Yeah.
What do you say when it actually keeps going? How do we, you know, encourage them in that moment?
Yeah.
So I think those are important. It's not to be a negative Nancy, but to give people actual real tools. And so I'm glad you're here, because reality shows do that.
Yeah.
And people criticize, why you reality show? Because we must show how we can move the needle
Absolutely.
a little bit together.
Yeah.
I know you want the escape, but some of this shit you just can't escape.
Yeah.
So how do you find balance? When I need to escape, I'm gonna come watch you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna watch Q. Shout out to Funky Dineva. You
Yes.
know, I watch the show every night. Yeah, I like the escape too.
Yeah.
But he also brings me on his show to say, okay, now while we escaping, let's get these. You need to know that, you know, this is also happening.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I receive all of that.
you receive all of
I
that.
do. I promise you I do.
So a little bit about when you were actually hosting.
Yes.
Because you used to get in everybody else's business and you know, bringing all their stuff out to light. But you also have, these are friends of yours as well. You've built relationships. How awkward is it when you have to spill the tea and talk about their business and then see them next week and act like you wasn't talking about their business? How do you manage that?
I know. So listen, Reality with the King, my podcast, is a huge success, primarily because my audience get to hear a producer who has produced a lot of their favorite shows, who are still producing their favorite shows, talk about their favorite shows. With those shows, though, come people.
Right.
And those people I know.
Right.
And the ones I know I'm
Yeah.
friends with,
Yeah.
right? So it is challenging when I'm watching a show and I see some behavior and I have to talk about it. And sometimes these are people who I know personally. And it is awkward at times to have to critique them. I'll give you a good example. This is May, was this last? It was last year. So last season of The Real Housewives of Atlanta, I was very honest about my take on the show. And Marlo Hampton is a really good friend of mine. I love her. Marlo had a moment on the show that I was like, I gotta talk about it. I gotta talk about it. And I talked about it. And before I aired it, I called her.
Oh, okay.
Because I knew, my spirit, because again, God talks to you if you listen and be still.
Yeah.
My spirit said, contact Marlo and give her a heads up. So I called her and I said, hey, I watched last night's episode and I'm talking about it. And when I said X, Y, and Z, and I was just being honest. And she said, okay, that's some real, you know, that's real. That's you, because all my friends know that I'm real.
Yeah.
And all of it, listen, this is the gag. 99.9% of all the reality girls call me, DM me, message me to give them advice.
Right.
So what I say online, they know that's what I'll say to them in person if they ask me.
Right.
So long story short, she appreciated the heads up. We got a good old kiki, boom. I aired it. Hours later, she texts me all these DMs from the fans. Carlos reading you. Yeah. He ain't your real friend. He's throwing you shade. And she said, thank God you called me to give me a heads up, because these people are thinking you're shading me. And if I'm being honest, because I didn't watch it, I would have been in my feelings like, is Carlos shading me? So I am aware that that happens, but I always will live in my truth. And I'm not nasty, I'm not mean-spirited. I'm honest on what you did in the show.
Right.
I don't talk about you being a mother, a wife, a sister. Like I don't. That's below the line. Below the belt, excuse me. So I keep it to the show. But is it awkward at times? Yes.
Yeah, because it's still their life. Even though you're keeping it to the show. It's still
Yeah.
But they should understand it goes with the territory, but that's easy.
Yeah, 95% of them do.
Yeah.
And Mia Thornton called me once and read me for filth.
Is she the 5% that didn't get it? Uh-huh. I'm trying to get some tea, y'all. Y'all know your
No. And we talked about it last week on because I have a Monday Night Live show on my YouTube channel, which is a huge hit. And I'm live, and I'm talking about it. But this is the craziest part. So I'll have other guests on, Dustin Ross, Claudia Jordan, Lauren LaRosa, the list goes on and on. And they have strong opinions. And people look at my facial reaction.
Right.
And God forbid I laugh, because I have a funny bone. So as they're giving their strong opinions about my friends,
You can.
So this is the funny part. My raindrops, they are staring at me because I'd be like this.
Right.
Like, try not to laugh. And they'd be like, Carlos is trying to hold it in. Because I'm like, I don't want my friends to think, oh, you laughing at their jokes about me. So
But do you think it's a good idea to be friends? Should you not be friends? Or is it necessary to produce
That's a really
good show?
good question. Listen, I love the friendships I have with the girls because I know they need somebody to talk to. Somebody who is an executive, who is unbiased. So they need that. And that's why I said 95% of them get it. And I don't have a problem with none of that. Nene Leakes showed me something somebody said about me that I allegedly said about her. And she was like, child, I ain't thinking about this. So that outweighs the bad. But when it comes to that 5%, it is awkward, but I always say to myself, as long as I'm honest and not mean-spirited, and even better, spill the tea that I really know that we talked about off the record, leave me alone.
Yeah, don't
bother me, child.
Don't play with me.
Because I know a lot of stuff I didn't say. So leave me alone. Yeah.
Got you. You think you ever do a tell-all book?
A tell-all? Listen, I think tell-alls, for me, this is my opinion, I wouldn't do it because I care about the sanctity of people's privacy. When it comes to having off-the-record conversations, I am a true journalist.
Yes, me too.
I believe in the integrity of journalism. So my off-the-record conversation stays off the record. I don't mind doing a tell-all about me, because I'll spill my own tea before somebody else gets paid to do it.
Got you. That's really important. The integrity of a journalist, integrity of a producer.
Yeah.
To have trust with you.
Absolutely.
That work with you. I hear you when you say it's such a small niche too, so people need somebody that understands the business. I have found that to be very helpful with partnering with people that kind of get where I'm coming from. My best friend's my best friend. Been my best friend for 30 years, but it helps to work with somebody actually, to talk to somebody actually in business that you can trust, so that I won't go live and crash out.
Or crash out and tweet.
Yes.
I was like, child, did you have to say all that?
The crash out.
Love Jesus.
Okay, so where can they catch you? You're everywhere.
Thank
But what are
you.
some of the things that you want people to make sure they tune into?
Yes, so my podcast, Reality with the King, audio Tuesdays and Thursdays, wherever you get your podcast, Apple, Spotify, wherever. My YouTube channel, my exclusive one-on-one interviews is every Tuesday on my YouTube channel at @BCarlosKing_. My Monday Night Live is on YouTube where me, Claudia Jordan, Dustin Ross, we are recapping this season of Atlanta Housewives. And I bring on surprise guests on there as well. I talked about my Soulful Sundays, my weekly Sunday series where I speak about my faith and how that operates in my life. And Love and Marriage, Huntsville, Detroit, DC, Saturdays on OWN, Bell Collective, Fridays on OWN. And keep following me on social media at @BCarlosKing_, because I always give surprise announcements. I'm like Beyonce. I like to drop a surprise.
Oh, okay. And you got something coming up?
And then go home.
Besides the Tezlyn Figaro show that he
Yes,
over thinking about. We're laughing, but he's being serious now.
well, you know, I'm always creating.
Always scouting, always looking. So Revolt, y'all better lock me in because Carlos over got ideas. No, I'm just teasing. But yeah.
Lock her in,
But
honey.
so for real.
Lock
No.
her in. If you see her on my channel, don't be surprised.
Right? No, but thank you so much for coming.
Well, thanks for having me.
really
This was a great, impactful conversation. I really, really, really enjoyed this interview. I need you to know that you're really good at your job.
Oh, thank you.
You are really, really good because you allow yourself to listen. And a lot of people underestimate the power of listening so that you're able to get to know the person you're talking to and ask the follow-up questions. So you did a good job at that.
Thank you. Well, this was great, guys.
It's over already?
It's over already because they keep rapping me.
Oh.
Because I would really love to get into more with you.
I was having so much fun.
Conversation with you. This is really deep.
Yeah.
Really prophetic. And I hope I've been able to confirm some things.
Oh, you definitely have.
Yeah.
That's what I'm telling you what to do.
His producers telling me. I really want to get into more about reality, why you chose it. I know I had my cue cards, but I just wanted to go with.
We got to end already?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Look at me producing.
Yeah.
I can't help myself. I'm like, we can go on for 10 more minutes?
Yeah.
That's okay. It's okay.
Very
I get it.
interesting. But I'm glad your people had a chance. This was what I really wanted them to see, another side of you. The
Me
spiritual
too.
side. I don't know if they get to see that often. Well, you said you have a
Yeah, I just started that 2 weeks ago. So, but
Okay.
this was, you know, purposeful to really show the other side of my world, my personality, and my faith. So,
Yeah.
job well done.
Well, thank you so much. I take that as an honor. Hopefully we can have you back. I
Oh,
love
yeah, I would love to
visit
come
you
back.
anytime.
Yeah.
The spiritual journey is important.
It
I
is.
think people need to hear more of it.
Yeah.
And need to know why you standing on kingdom business. Because that's key. Thank you, Carlos.
Thank
for
you,
coming.
Lovey.
Thank you.
This was great. Thank you so
Yes.
much.